letter D rather, political neutrality, which means public official, public employees should provide service to everyone without unfair discrimination and regardless of party affiliation or preference. This happens commonly sa mga municipalities, di ba? Pag bago ang mayor, ratsada po, bag-ota ng empleyado. Kay dati makang tauhan sa mayor, to kaya assign sa layo. It happens. Nangyayari yan. It shouldn't be like that. You are considered as a public official and you are not supposed to do that. You are actually violating D of Section 4. So we need to provide service to people, to everyone, kahit anuman ang kanilang party affiliation or preference. Next is responsiveness to the public. Extend prompt, courteous, and adequate service to the public. Practice of ensuring that the public are served fully and responsibly by government agencies and officials. Kaya nga sa mga government offices, narong nakalagay dyan yung mga suggestion box. May mga complaints kayo about the services of this particular office, pwede kayong mag-fill in doon, tapos isubmit nyo, and they would definitely act on it. Sa national level naman, we have the 888. So pag meron kayong you feel that your rights are violated with this particular office, with this particular employee, then you can call 888 and directly complain that particular person or that particular government office or offices. Because professionals as we are, government employees as we are expected to extend courteous, adequate service to the public. Next is nationalism and patriotism. Of course, our loyalty should be to the Republic of the Philippines, to the Republic and to the Filipino people. And we need to defend Philippine sovereignty against foreign intrusion. That is why we are excuse me, we are fighting for the, di ba yung ROTC natin dapat gawin na siyang mandatory. Kasi nga, we are expected to defend our country against foreign enemy in times of war. Pumunta ka ng ibang bansa, punta ka sa US, punta ka sa Korea, punta ka sa China, everyone there. I think Japan also. Everyone should survive 2 to 3 years of military service bago ka pwedeng mag-college. Parang prerequisite yun to pwede kang magstay doon. Pwede ka rin, if you opt to get out after your tour of duty para mag-aral, pwede yon. But if you wanted to stay, you stay. Lahat, no? Walang exemption. Of course, may exemption. Maybe yung mga may sakit and all. But the point here is that everyone should be prepared to protect the country in case of invasion. And ang ating mga kabataan, kayo, are expected to be trained to protect our nation. Hindi yung nagralali. Nandun, sa labas ng bakod, ayaw sa mandatory ROTC nagrarali. Diba? Loyalty to the Republic of the Philippines. Nakakalungkot isipin ba na meron tayong mga congressman, meron tayong mga senators. Look at our vice president. Lagi na lang niyang tinitira yung ating administration, particularly our president. Now, if you look at it, meron ba siyang loyalty to the Republic, to the people that she served? She is part of the government and yet, siya ang number one vocal against the government. So, nasa na yun yung nationalism at patriotism niya? Okay? Again, as a review, Section 4, you need to be committed to democracy and you need to lead a life, a simple leading modest lives appropriate to your position. Kung ano yung sahod mo as a patrolman, then dapat kung ano yung nakikita sa'yo, na-appropriate lang doon sa sahod mo. Yung ganon, na expectations. Hindi yung 29,000 lang naman ang sahod mo, patrolman, tapos yung sasakyan mo, Fortuner. Paano mo nagawang makuha yan? Dato mo na siya dati. Dato mo na sila daan lang family. Yes. But you choose to become government employee. So, as much as possible, be moderate in your show of wealth. Klaro? Hindi yung nagtatrabaho ka sa LGO tapos ang dami mong alahas sa katawan para kang walking pawn shop. Tapos yung sahod mo less than 20,000 lang a month. So anong isipin ng tao pag nakita ka? Saan mo kinukuha yan? Diba? So we need to live modest lives appropriate sa position at income na meron tayo. Is Section 5, Duties and Responsibilities of Public Employees and Officials. We have act promptly on letters and requests. Yan. Mayroon tayong case niyan. You can check that out. Moico versus Saratan. All public officials and employees shall, within 15 working days from receipt thereof, respond to letters, telegrams, of other means of communication sent by the public. So kung merong request from the public, dapat within 15 working days you have to act on it, or else you will violate Section 5 letter A. B. Submit annual performance report. Within 45 working days from the end of the year, every government office companies must submit their performance report. So meron talaga tayong tinatawag na, in the government we have the IPCR and the OPCR. These are performance report submitted by government employees. So kasali yan sa requirements every year. So dapat every 45 working days from end of the year, ginasabit na alam mo. So expected yan sa mga, that is expected for all government employees and officials. C. Process documents and papers expeditiously. Yan, related yan sa letter A. Papers and documents must contain not more than 3 signatories. In the absence of duly authorized signatories, the official next in rank or officer in charge shall sign for and in their behalf. So these are office documents processes that should be implemented, expected from government officials and employees. Section 5, letter D. Act immediate on the public's personal transaction. Again, we are expected to give service to the public immediately or in the prescribed time or days given by the government. Public officials and employees must attend to anyone who wants to avail his services. Kung magpunta kayo sa isang office, tapos sabihin sa inyo na balik lang kasi nag-lunch pa yung ano dyan, teller dyan, yung naka-assign dyan, that is actually illegal. That is not supposedly what is happening. Because meron tayong tinatawag na no known break. Dapat palaging may tao dyan sa office na yan any time of the day. Not necessarily from 6 PM onwards ha. 8 to 5 dapat may tao dyan. Hindi pwedeng sabihin sa iyo na nag-lunch pa man 1 hour, balik lang. That is actually illegal. You can actually complain about it. No? And of course, you have to act promptly and expeditiously. Make documents accessible to the public. Yan, it is the responsibility of the heads of the departments, offices, and agencies to establish measures and standards that will ensure transparency and openness in the public transactions, such as biddings and all other matters involved in public interest. That is why pag magpunta ka sa isang office, may makikita kang bulletin board dyan sa labas. Nakalagay dyan lahat ng projects, nakalagay dyan lahat ng mga procurement, mga purchases ng office na yan. For us to be able to know, for you to be able to know, for the public to be able to know, paano ginagasto yung pera na naka-assign sa office na yan. That is making documents accessible to the public. Not only procurements, not only expenses, but also other things such as yung mga na-implement, yung mga achievements ng isang office that the people, that the public should be notified. Section 7. Ano ba yung mga prohibited acts and transactions? Number 1. Letter A. Financial and material interests. Public officials and employees shall not directly or indirectly have any financial or material interest in any transaction requiring the approval of the office. Yan. Palagi natin sinasabi yan. Palagi namang binaviolate ng other members of the government agencies or offices. Oh, especially pag licensing. Palisensya. Magbabayad ng 6,000, 7,000, 12,000 para hindi na mag-exam. Para pasado sa exam. Diba? Common yan. That's Section 7 letter A. Directly or indirectly have any financial or material interest in any transaction. Di naman pwedeng under the table. That's illegal. But then again, we are trying to stop that. We are trying to prohibit that. Ang problema lang talaga, meron talagang mga tao na talagang mantakan na yung kanilang corrupt activities. So when the time comes that you become public officials or public employee, hopefully you will remember this discussion. Bawal yan. The president hate corruption. Aside from drugs, he hate corruption so much. Outside employment and other activities related thereto. Provision in the private practice of profession and to accept employment in any private enterprise regulated by their office. For example, ako, I am a criminologist. I am an instructor. Tapos, nagtuturo ako sa state college as full-time. Pero, nagtuturo din ako doon sa polytechnic. Is that legal or illegal? Bawal yan. Bawal yan. Ha? That would be conflict of interest. Outside employment and other activities related sa rento. Especially related sa imuhang profession. Siguro kung namaligyan ako sa palengke, na ako'y pwesto dito, na ako'y pwesto sa karnihan or sa isdaan, dili siya ang anak ka gala. Dili siya ang anak ka prohibited. Although same, you still need to apply for it. You still need to have the approval of your boss for it. But pag related na ganito sa mong profession, for example, again, ako, I am your instructor. I am a full-time instructor in state college. Tapos na ako kaugalingon ng review center para sa board exam. Okay lang board exam sa nursing or sa engineering. Nya ako ang review center kay criminology man. Bawal dili. Bawal na siya, guys, ha. That is conflict of interest. One way for you to be able to make it possible is for you to have a written approval by the president, of the university, that you are allowed to do that outside, to practice your profession outside. But nevertheless, that is not allowed. Clear? Next is disclosure and misuse of confidential information. Public officials and employees shall not use or divulge confidential information. That's basically it. Hindi, bawal yan. Di pwedeng basta-basta ka na lang magbibigay ng public or mag-release ng public documents without the proper approval of the higher offices or office. Meron tayong batas niyan. No? Even us, kayo, hindi kayo basta-basta. Look at our IDs. If you notice, yung mga ID namin as employees, hindi na nakalagay dyan yung pangalan namin. Full name. It's not anymore allowed. Pwede ilagay doon, ano na lang. For example, yung code name ko, variable. O yung aking nickname. Yan. Because IDs are supposed to be confidential. I mean, your name, your address, your telephone number, your blood type, and everything about you is supposed to be confidential. Okay? May batas tayo dyan. May batas tayo dyan. So, even yung mga examination result, papers should not be indiscriminately shown to other persons. Hindi pwede yan. Yung mga public teachers natin, minsan yung mga examination booklet ng estudyante yung ginagawang pambalot ng mga binibenta sa eskwela. Bawal yan, ha? Meron tayong batas about it. And in later part, we will be discussing about it. And solicitation or acceptance of gifts. Prohibition, prohibiting the acceptance directly or indirectly of gifts or anything of monetary value from any persons in the course of their official duties. Mato ani nga office. Tapos magtalag manok. Ihatag sa director. Dili na siya pwede, ha? Bawal na siya. Bawal na siya. No questions about it. No discussion further about it. That's tantamount to corruption. Section 8, Statement of Assets and Liabilities and Financial Disclosure. Aside sa IPCR, OPCR, yung office performance or personal performance, individual performance na ginasubmit namo as government employees to the higher office, we are also mandated to submit our Statement of Assets and Liabilities, SALN. Ang tawag dyan, or financial disclosure. A form to be submitted by public official or employees stating their properties, assets, income, and financial connections. To be filed within 30 days from the assumption of office or on or about, or before rather, April 30 annually. The purpose of that is for the Human Resource Department to know kung ano ba yung assets and properties mo. This is commonly required when you assume government office or annually submitted to the higher offices. Yung pagpasok mo sa PNP, yung assets mo lang is worth 500,000. Tapos the next year naging patrolman ka. Yung asset mo pag-check naging ano na siya? 1.7 million. Paano nangyari yun? Hindi na makakasya yung sildo mo dyan. At least you're Manny Pacquiao. Nagbaboxing ka, di ba? So, there is discrepancy there. So, that is why we need to submit this Statement of Assets and Liabilities. This is to counter-check if there are corruption activities or if you are violating this particular rule. Okay? Yan. Divestment naman tayo. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng divestment? When a conflict of interest arises, a public official or employee shall resign from his position in any private business enterprise within 30 days from his assumption of office or divest himself from his shareholdings or interests within 60 days from such assumption. Yan. So, yung sinasabi ko kanina, for example, you are practicing your profession here as a criminologist, tapos natuturo ka sa ibang school ng criminology din. So, anong gawin mo? In the investment, kailangan ma-resign doon. You need to resign or else tatamaan ka sa batas na to. Meron kang, if you are owning a particular review center, then you have to resign from that particular review center. Or kung tingin mo naman, mas maraming pera doon sa review center, then mag-resign ka na sa public office. Doon ka na lang sa review center mo. Am I clear? So, that's the investment. Penalties. Fine not exceeding the equivalent of 6 months salary or suspension not exceeding 1 year. Ito yung mga penalties, guys. Violation of Section 789 shall be punishable with imprisonment not exceeding 5 years or a fine not exceeding 5,000 pesos. Yan, napakalaki niyan. Even yung 6 months lang na salary or suspension, napakalaki ng dagok yan sa buhay mo as a public employee. The official or employee concerned may bring an action against any person who obtains or uses report for any purpose prohibited by Section 8D of this particular act. The court in which such action is brought may assess against such person a penalty in any amount not exceeding 25,000 pesos. So again, meron tayong batas. We have this Republic Act 6713 as a guide for you as a future law enforcers, for us nga naa na sa government service, to be able to do our duty with integrity, to do our work with integrity and honesty. This is a guide for us. Kung wala ni siya, guys, chaos. Kung wala ni siya, kagubot ang atong mga public and public officials and employees. So this is a guide, this is a warning for us to do our job honestly and with integrity, or else we will suffer the consequences of this particular Republic Act number 6713.